Uh, sorry. So let's start. So
Hello?
yesterday, yes, Ashok hello. Talked about the little bit on local storage and data tables, and actually how we can convert and display the details here. Okay. So in the continuation of that, actually, if you say you want to look for some specific information in that, so we started with the let's move to delivery. So you need to go to purchase. Actually, I'll tell you that actually like product and delivery, there's two different applications. Yeah. So within that, you can see we have created different type of category. Okay. And then in the users tab now, it will show that a list of the data page name and where it was used. Okay. So you can see that the data page in that two data pages, one is the normal one individual, another one is the complete name, and then we have the source defined is 1 and then it was used where, so that the references will come from the where it was used. So you can see the list of the name of the section will come from here.
So Mukesh, Saket,
Yes, Saket.
to add a column in a table, you need to add the record both in the data model tab and the records tab, is it?
Yes, that's right.
Why is it so? Can you explain, like, why do we need to add in two tabs?
Yeah. See, it might happen that okay. So let's see if you see some of the values you see it here, right? Like all the columns which is here. So in future, like some of the tables fields which is actually you don't want to expose it. So say now actually I created one more field here. Okay, but we can give name, brand, expiry date, price, quantity. Yeah. Okay. Warranty. Okay. Actually, how much warranty you have for the product, we can keep that. So that actually like we can say. Uh, Something like, okay, we have manufacturing date here? No, right? Yeah, we can put manufacturing date. Okay, so now what actually like if you say, the source which actually you have, right? So that containing table. So this is actually like what we did it, actually when we are doing it, we are creating a table. Okay, behind of the scene, this table actually like class is associated with a table. So if you see, you get the okay. So within that data model, you can see the properties are here. Okay. So now you have actually manufacturing date also as a separate field. But when you open the definition of it, the table will not contain the manufacturing ID. So this is the name of that table which is created here. Okay, PR underscore egate underscore data underscore products. Okay, so this will not contain the field which we have added recently. Once you add edit column, then it will going to create a new column within that. Okay, I'll show you that how we can go with that. So if you say that I should cover it later, but it's actually like, okay, you can get to know about the database table. So whatever the information I told about this table and everything, right? So we are using Postgre database, right? So let's see, we are going into Postgre database. So you can see that you have installed the personal edition. Within the personal edition, you have PGSQL, that's the Postgre database. So Postgre database has one product which is called as PGAdmin 3, which is the administration tool for your database. So from that you can see that what are the things you have in the database. So you can look for PGAdmin 3 here. So you can see that PGAdmin 3 is an application. Okay, click onto that. It will open the admin tool for your database. Okay. So there, first time you need to create a entry. So if you click on to add a new one, you need to add these details. Personal detail, host will be 127.0.0.1 and port, what is the port you have given, 5432, and the username and ID password will be Pega. Okay. So once you have given that, you click on OK, it will connect it to the, so click on that, it will connect you to the personal edition database. So here you can see that now you have connected to the personal edition. Okay, so there you can see that table 440. Okay, so if you click onto that, it will give you all the tables which is associated now. So this is actually, you can see that the table name which we have got from there is PR underscore egate. Okay, so these are all the PC. So you need to go to the PR. Yeah, PR data egate. Like that. PR underscore egate. Oh, sorry, PR underscore egate data. So it should be PR underscore egate data product. Okay, this is the name of the table. So there you can see that currently you can see in the below brand, expiry date, price, quantity, product category, product, and manufacturing is not here at the moment. So when you create the property, actually doesn't create the column automatically. If it is there, it will be going to store in a blob. So that actually we called as PZ string. Okay. So if any column which is not there in the outside, normally Pega use that this as a blob which contains the complete row once again. Okay, PZ string. This is a blob column which contains the complete row in a single column, like complete row in a single column. So complete data is compressed and getting stored in this column. So if you don't create the column separately, it will be, you need to get it, refer this PZ string to display that. Once you can, like if you see, you go and edit the column here. Okay. So you have now added the manufacturing data as well. Okay. And now if you go and refresh this, now you can see that there is a column 27 also is there now, and manufacturing date is there now. Okay. So you get the difference why we are adding it two places.
Yeah, okay. So it is not refreshed and then we'll have to add it so that we can see it here. Is it?
No, it's not about the refresh. It's about that it's not adding the column here. Once you will add
Okay.
it, only then it is going to create a new column here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So before adding, if as you said, if you check it in that PZPY stream, you will be able to see that particular one.
Actually, PZPV string is a blob. Okay, blob you cannot see in like as a normal column. It will contain everything. The complete row
Okay.
information is there in that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually like go for the next one. So today we are going to cover the data page. So actually I show you the use of data page. Okay. Data page we're going to cover in more detail as well in future, but to start with, like you can see, there are two types of the data page, like normal page. So you can see the page, and also you have list. Okay, you can see the two drop downs in that page list. Okay, so normally when we create it, we can create as a single instance of it, or we can get the multiple instances of the data page as well. And it's referred to the same data type. So you can see that the class name we need to provide in two places. We are providing the class names in that. Okay. And database can be editable, can be read-only. So most of the time we make as a read-only database only. We don't use database as a editable. In very rare scenario, we go for database as editable. And in maximum scenario, we go for read-only database. And the next is we call as scope. Okay, that actually we have thread, requester, and node. What do you mean by thread, requester, and node? Okay, yeah. So the information it's depend on like how much information you are going to reuse. So data page, if you just need to define it once, and every time actually the refreshing of the database, like how it is going to load, okay, everything will be taken care by Pega afterwards. Okay. So the thread is like if you're working on a single instance, okay, you need some information, then the database you can mention as thread label. So all the things actually, whatever the things you are going to get it the information, it will be specific to the particular case only. But if you see actually the same information you require for most of the like cases, you are like working on 5 or 6 different cases. For each time you need the same information. Like what is your access role, access group, what is your work basket. But this is actually like for a single user, which is can be applicable to the all the cases he is working. So that type of data page we go for requester level. So it will be load at once for a single data like for the requester, and the same data page will be used for all other cases he is working. And the same actually for the node label, actually we like the same data page like for the different data page, all the users required it. Like I have 10 users, like 10 requesters, and all of them need that data page in that node. Okay. In that scenario, we can go for node label. So if you say you are working on some banking application and you need rate of exchange. So everyone who is working on that project need the rate of exchange. So that rate of exchange field can be put into the node label data page. So that it will be load only once, and it will be used by every one of them. So that type of database we can put into the node table. So this is decide that how frequently you will load your database, thread, requester, and node level database. Okay. Then actually like how we are going to load the data page. So you can see that there are 4 options like character, data transform, lookup, and activity. So here actually in place of lookup there is a report definition. So only difference is actually between the page and load is in place of lookup is there is a report definition here, and in that is a lookup is there. Source is lookup. Okay. So this is like if the connector, like you are getting some, you have some other systems and you are trying to get the information from other system here. Then it will be used as a connector. Okay. Then we have data transform. Actually, I'll talk about that, and report definition and activity. So there are the different way we can load a data page. So we'll talk on that also in later. Now it will just to remember. So this is the way we can load the database. Okay. The next other thing is actually like we have load management. Okay. So in the database, first thing it's two type, list and single mode. Okay, database. Then it's editable or read only. Then the scope. Then the how we are going to source of data sources, and finally like the load management. How you want to going to manage the load? How often you want to refresh your page? Okay. So once it was loaded, then it's like how we often we want to load the database. So refresh strategy we decided in the load management. Okay. So in database you can see that there is a refresh strategy, reload once per interaction. So for each interaction, like you are opening a one case, again the database will be loaded once again. So this is it, like we use the reload for interaction, then other option will be vanished. It doesn't require other options. So every interaction it will load your data page once again. So if you have removed that, you can see that you have this option, do not reload when. So if you see you are working any specific condition, you don't want to reload it once again or reload it. So if you see the data page, your server is 24 hours available, and every 7 days you are refreshing the data in some other places. So you want to upload after 7 days, you want to update your information. So reload if older than 7 days. So every 7 days your data page is going to be refreshed with that. Okay. So this is the option which is the refresh strategy. Okay. There is one difference in the refresh strategy between the scope. So thread and requesters are same. If I change to node level, okay, and if I go to the load management, the option which is available is changes. So reload for interaction is not there, okay, and reload if when condition is removed. So in this place we provide the access group. So access group provide the access to load the node level, because see node level data page is used in multiple places, multiple users, okay, and if anyone wants to refer that, it should not upload it instantly. So there is actually like there is an access group who will control the refreshment for that. So that person, a particular group, access group, had access to load the data page, and everyone can use it, but loading and refreshing of the data page is only available to that particular type of access group. So we can define one actually specific access group to do that. So that time is also a mandatory field in node level database scope. Okay. So this is the difference of the different type of database. So the structure, scope, source, and the load management. Okay, so access group comes only in case of so if you change back to thread, okay, it will remove the information from here. It's changed the refresh strategy. So for requester and thread level, the refresh strategy is same. Only in case of your node level, we need to define the access group to control the use of data page. Okay. And data page you can see in the clipboard is maintained it separately. So you can see there are 4 type of pages which is coming in the clipboard: user, data, link property pages, and system pages. So in the data type, you can see your currently like we have not defined anything, so it's not coming. So all the requester level pages, it's here, and node level page is this. Okay, this is some of the thing which is Pega has already created that. So if we say we are trying to run the section which we have run yesterday, okay, so it will going to, so now, so if we say this page, I did it and I'm going to do the preview of it. Okay, once I did preview, it will also create the page in database source here also. So if we say standard, okay, and if you go in thread level, it will show you the product list as well. So you can see that now it's created the product list page as well, and all the results will be storing PX results like that, and the same information it's visible in.
Okay, sure.
Yep, just check it.
So you are saying we did not require any access group at thread level, but it is required at node level, right?
Yes, that's right.
So can you once again explain what is thread and node level and why is it not required to mention that access?
See, actually like the data page are actually like you don't control when it is going to be refer. When it is referenced, then only it's going to load the data page. It's refresh the data page. Okay. So if you say you are making changes to some of the source part of it, so if you don't refresh it, you will get the old information in that. So actually sometime, actually if you say you are sourcing it from some other external system using some other method, okay. So now if you don't refresh it, you will not get the correct information. So you need to refresh the same. So in case of your requester and this one, right? Actually normally we go for normal one case, and that we want to refresh the same. Okay, so this actually information actually like it's going to support you in thread and requester level. Okay, so thread is actually like for one interaction. So every interaction, the database is going to be checked. Okay, this is interaction is finished. It is going to upload the database once again. So there is no problem of refreshing, and there is no problem of cache in that database. The same thing in the requester level. Actually, if any information you have made the changes, you need to load the data page once again. So you can log off and log in again, then the data page will be refreshed once again. Because your instance of the cache, once you log off, every information of your information will be refreshed with that. But in the node level database, like if this is available in node, you have 100 users, okay? And if 100 users are there, how you can going to refresh the database for all of them? In between, if you make the changes, if any user make changes, then it will be refreshed again, and someone else working, so it will disturb the work for others.
Yeah.
Right? So actually we don't want that to be happen. So we want that control to a specific access group, so that will be controlled by them. If they want that, okay, the page needs to be refreshed, That person obviously like who has access to that access group can only refresh the page, or you can delete the page from them only. You cannot do by any other person.
Yeah, so refresh would be specific to that particular user when we set up this access group.
Yeah, access will be everyone. Actually, to access it, to use the same, to reference the same, it is the access to every user. But refreshing of that is not there for everyone.
Okay, so the access group which we provide, only the user who have access for that can be able to refresh once we define it. Okay,
Yes.
Yes.
okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay. So this will be like once actually like in later actually we'll going to use more. You will get to understand some more about that, like why we have defining that way. Okay. Why we can like when we could use for which type of requester level. Okay. Which type of scope for the database we should use. We'll check it out in future classes as well. Okay. So this is actually like to give you that initially data type. So data type are the declare rules. So you don't need to see actually what I did. Actually when I'm visiting this page, I defined that it is going to use the database. But where I'm calling the database to get the data and put the database, nothing, right? I'm not doing anything for that. Pega will take care of that automatically. Okay. Yep. So it's clear now?
Yeah, thank you.
So it will be actually like some of the more things are there in the database. You will get to know. Okay, what it is like, how we can go with more of the things. So they are the parameters which is actually useful for different purpose as well. So there is one more. Actually, I show you one use of it, right? So within that, if you can see, I'm going to use a. Let's see the data product list we have. Product details is there, right? So let's see. I'm going to give you one more use of it. Okay. So if you see, I'm going to create a dynamic layout. Okay. And there I used a, let's see, I'm going to some category field. Okay. For that I need to create some, yeah, I can use them directly. Let's see. Let's see, product category. Okay. Before that I need to go here. Yeah. So this is actually like you can see, I created the properties and there I want to change that is a drop down. Okay. So you can see that what is the source of that. So actually like if say I want for data page. Okay, here I can go for d underscore product. Okay. Oh, not product list, sorry. I need to use the not single product. So here I can go with product category, okay. Choose category. Okay. So I can choose the product from the drop down also now. And based on that, actually like, okay, I choose one of the category and subcategory. So here also I can go with, no, actually like specifically product ID or not get it. Uh, this also I can change the type to drop down. Okay. So now again the list source is required. You can change to data page, so okay. So you can just submit it. And yeah, one more field we can put product name. Okay. So product name also I changing to a drop down field. And there also making the data page. So here I can go with the property type product type. Okay, so here I'm using a different thing. So it will display you product ID, but behind the scene it will going to map to the product ID. Okay. So you see this is actually we are going to put the why like that so. One minute. Okay. So that actually we can see we have categorized the things, and below of that you can put another layout to get the so see actually I'm moving, I'm not displaying this one. Okay, presentation tab. So make it will not be going to visible now. Okay, so we are going to display in a different format. So here we have based on the choose parameter we are going to display that. That I need to create a separate section and I can put it here. Let's see, just going to create the product ID. Yeah, price is already there. Okay, leave it. And then we need the, in place of product ID, I just need the product name, sorry. Okay, product name, price, and you can say description. Okay. So this one actually I'm going to keep that. What I'm going to do is I'm displaying, storing this is a separate section. Okay. So I'm creating a separate section to put it here. Oh, so you can see that become change to section include. Okay. So you can see that I'm going to change it to user data page. Okay. So that, okay, fine. Let's actually like view it. Um, it's not displaying anything. This should be displayed there. Let's see, actually like we are facing some issues, like how we can trace it. So actually like we are facing some issues in streaming of the rule. So if you can say stream rule, we need to check it out. Okay. So it's giving me null now. Okay. So somewhere it's not able to stream that properly. Oh, it's difficult to get it in this manner. Yeah. So here you can see that the product details string rule is started from here. Okay. So the name of the rule you can see it here. Started, and within that stream, previous stream started. No, sorry. Up, up, up. Is the only place where it started there? Yeah. All that means from some other class. Yeah, this is from some other classes. Okay, it's only started here, the streaming. Okay, this is the place which is started that, and it stopped it here. Is mobile and you can do inspector. No, from here if you click here, Tracer is not helping. Actually, UI doesn't help that much. Tracer doesn't help in that part. So if you say currently, like maybe actually I'm getting wrong with this one. So let's see. Actually, like what we can do is we can remove it from here just for time being. Okay. So I remove that. Yep. So it's here now. Let's see if it is with that. It's taking time to slow. Oh. Actually, okay, this is okay. Target tracer. Yeah, actually, that's why it's slowing down. Actually, I need to stop the tracer. Otherwise, it will not take that much time. Still doing well. I think so. Okay, something I don't think it's normally we should check the UI part in the actual case. Normally when you review it, sometimes you will not get the proper results and you cannot check the actions there as well. So it was working without that. Okay. So there is no issue with this. Okay. Then actually going to discuss it this one tomorrow. Okay. Actually now it's 7 o'clock it's already. So we'll continue this again on Monday now.
Oh, there's no class tomorrow?
No, actually for you Jacob there will be CPBA, right? So that will be
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
CSA class will be not there tomorrow.
Oh, CSA is Monday to Thursday?
Friday. Uh, okay, Monday to Friday. So it will
Okay,
actually
Monday to Friday. I get it. Okay, for me it's Thursday. I know, I get it.
it will be I start with Sunday to Thursday for you.
Okay. Sunday to Thursday. And
Yes,
then Friday, Saturday is for the BPPA.
yes, that's right.
Okay. So I got class every day.
Yes, 7 days the classes.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see you
Sorry,
tomorrow.
actually what I want to show that one actually like how you can go with the drop down and how you can select that. So that will continue on Monday on that one. Okay.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.